Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to the Thursday Drivers Press Conference. It's a two-parter once again. So let's have your tweets and react to what the drivers are saying. And in the half-time interval, we'll feature a few of them on air for you.
Welcome to the Thursday Drivers Press Conference ahead of this weekend's Russian Grand Prix. Joining us for this first session from left to right, we have Valtteri Bottas, Daniil Kvyat and Romain Grosjean. If we could start with you, Daniil. With every driver's home race, there come a lot of off-track commitments. How have the last few days been for you, and were you even able to enjoy your birthday yesterday?
Yeah, I was, obviously you have to expect that you have a bit more things to do on your home race. I think it's a privilege for any driver to have his own home race, and of course was in Moscow a few days earlier for a few events, and here also yesterday was quite busy working day for me, to be honest, but it was still enjoyable. I was surrounded by nice people, and yeah, it was all quite nice. I did learn how to curling, so now another sport on top.
This is the fourth year of the Russian Grand Prix here in Sochi. How do you feel the popularity of the event has grown during that time?
To be honest, I think since year one there was quite full grandstands, so it's been quite good already. Not too much to add since the first year, so yeah, it's important to maintain this, and we will see this year, but I'm expecting to see again quite a lot of people here on Sunday, and weather is nice, so everyone should enjoy, and hopefully the race is going to be interesting, and that's it really. So I'm pleased to see this.
Let's talk now about your on-track performances. You scored points in Australia, but you haven't had much luck since then. How do you assess your season so far?
Well, first of all, it was already a privilege to finish the race in Australia for me, but it was a good start, and for me it was more important to know that we have a pace to do good results, and like you said, China, Bahrain was a bit not our kind of weekend, and I think more important for us to know that we have a package to do things well. The team is operating extremely well this year from the operational side of things. Very professional, especially considering how tight is the midfield. Every little thing makes difference for us. And it's actually quite interesting, very interesting every qualifying session. You're putting yourself at the limit, and the same in the race is very interesting to be there.
Tell us a little bit more about this year's car. What are its strengths and weaknesses?
Our car in particular, I would say it's quite universal. It's been similar kind of performance on every track so far. In Australia, China, Bahrain was always similar, fighting for points, Q3s, and yeah, like I said before, you have to put everything very well together, and the difference between being fourth best team or seventh best team is very, very narrow.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend. If we come on to Valtteri now. Valtteri, you made a step forward in qualifying last time out, but to use your own words, the race was a disappointment. Given that you have a great record here in Sochi, are you confident that this is the place to make that final step?
Yeah, I think definitely, been getting better in each qualifying of the year, and feeling that I can definitely extract more and more out of the car, and had a nice lap in Bahrain on Saturday. But yeah, it is Sunday what counts, and to be honest, I think the first race of the year in Melbourne as a Sunday was I think the best one for me. It was the most trouble-free race for me, and been having quite a few difficulties in China and in Bahrain, technically with different kind of things in the race. So yeah, hoping for a good one here. We have a strong package, and obviously the fight with Ferrari is extremely close, and every single bit is going to count. But yeah, just hoping for a good weekend.
You've just referred to the technical problems you had in Bahrain 2 weeks ago. You then went and did 143 laps in testing after the Grand Prix, during which you said you'd learnt a few tricks. I was just wondering if you could tell us what they are.
It's all about fine details with a fight between us and Ferrari, and obviously it's very close between teammates as well. So every single bit, helps, and I think it was quite critical in Bahrain with the tires in terms of keeping them in the right window, and with the tire pressure issues we had, it made it definitely more tricky. But just Bahrain testing allowed me to try a bit of different things for that really, how to manage the tires and in terms of race pace and temperatures and pressures and everything, we could experience a lot of different things, and I think we found small things as a team, and every small thing is going to help, but it's completely different conditions here in Russia, different tarmac, different temperatures, so we are facing new challenges here.
And just finally, you've now completed your first 100 days as a Mercedes driver. How would you sum it all up? How's it gone?
Busy. Especially since January when everything was signed and announced, it was busy time. But I have to say, these 100 days, I've never in my life learned so much within that short period of time. I feel like I've been developing well. I've been managed to get really into the team, and I feel completely part of the team, and I feel like I'm in a very good place. The team is really helping me with that, so just learned massively, but that's going to continue.
Thanks, Valtteri. Good luck this weekend. If we come on now to Roman. Roman, first points of the year last time out in Bahrain. So how confident are you of another good result here in Russia? Do you even know yet how good this year's car is?
A shame we're not on next press conference, because I always say I was going to wait for Grand Prix to see what the car was capable of doing, and we had 3 different tracks right now, and that Sochi is a fourth one, very smooth tarmac, and last year we had up and downs. This year looked like the car's been strong everywhere. Only first point is Bahrain, but I reckon we should have scored points already in Melbourne and in China with a little bit of bad luck. So so far it's been pretty good. Just waiting that Grand Prix to see how the car is going around, and if we can get all the answers we want and get the tires to work properly and so on. And if that's the case, then we know we should be pretty good everywhere, and then it's just going to be down to development.
Can I ask you now about the test last week in Bahrain, because you tested Carbon Industry brakes, and how did they compare to the Brembos that you've been racing? Are they the solution to the braking problems that you've had for pretty much the last 18 months?
Yeah, to be fair to Brembo, the last update in brakes we had that arrived in China were much better. It took a long time to get them. So then I was not screaming to change to Carbon Industry, but it was on the pipeline. We tried them, and we both drivers pretty pleased with it. We felt like we had more controls on the braking, and I'm very sensible to my left brake, left pedal. So I really need to get good brakes to get the confidence and push the car to its maximum limit. So we're going to run them here. And still a little bit of work we need to be doing around the mapping and finding the solution on those brakes. But I think, definitely it's going to help me a little bit to find the last few hundred.
So just to clarify, you are going to run the Carbon Industry here in Russia? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's open this to the floor now. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question.
Valtteri, as you mentioned, your qualifying has been getting better and better, but your race pace has not been what you expected. But especially the first half of the races that you seem to be struggling more when the car is on full tanks. Have you found out why is that, and have you done the testing in Bahrain, found a remedy for that?
You can remind us.
Luís Vasconcelos from Formula Press.
Thank you.
Yes. So, like I said, I think Australia was the first, the only race when everything was actually working as it should in the car. There was a small mechanical issue in China, which was affecting the balance of the car quite a lot, and it made the race overall quite tricky. Plus, I didn't maybe do the best job with the softer compound in the beginning. And in Bahrain, my race was compromised with the issue we had with the generator on the grid, meaning the tire pressures were way too high, and the first stint was very poor. We were hoping, the second stint would be better, so we fitted another set of super softs. It was better, but we didn't manage to be really on the window with the super soft. And at the same time, Lewis changed to softs. So that's why there was massive difference with the pace. And then we were on different strategy, different points of having the stops. And to be honest, it made me look really bad in the race and slow. But for sure, we had some issues as well. But yeah, I feel that with just a normal, trouble-free race, the good results will come, and we can have a strong result with both cars, definitely.
Beside you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next question.
Kirill Zaitsev, 66.ru, question for Daniil Kvyat. Danny, if Max Verstappen strikes somebody after start, will Dr. Marko replace him by you?
It's a question for Dr. Marko, isn't it for me?
Thank you. Next question.
Simon Lazenby, Sky Sports. A question for Valtteri. Valtteri, it looks like it's going to be tight, obviously, between yourselves and Ferrari this year. With that in mind, have you had a conversation with Toto or any of the management about when one of you or Lewis might become the number 1 or number 2 driver?
No, we have not had the conversation because I don't think there's any need to. This team never really has had number 1 or 2 drivers, and is not planning to. It's always trying to give equal chance for both drivers. But what is different this year is for the team, the last 3 years, you know, the gap to the second quickest team has been bigger. So, you know, maybe every single detail, letting the drivers race hard or one being stuck behind another at times hasn't costed anything. But I do understand the fact that this year it can cost points if for any reason, like for me in Bahrain, the pace of the other car is not good. Then the team really needs to think and be clever not to lose any points. But yeah, we've only had 3 races this year, and I feel all my good results are still on the way. So at least I'm not thinking about anything like that, and I'm sure the team also is. There's no need to.
Thank you. Next question.
Base jumper.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines. To all 3 of you, based on the latest information from the FIA, it appears as though the cockpit shield has received the nod for 2018 over the halo. First of all, what do you think about the shield, and which one would you prefer, the shield or the halo? All 3, please.
Let's start with Roman.
Can we choose nothing? Because I haven't been a big fan of the halo, and I'm not a huge fan of the shield neither. I don't want to stop the safety, and I think safety in Formula 1 has to be a number 1 priority, but I just don't want to change what I've known as Formula 1 since ever. And the next step is just to put a closed canopy on top of the helmet, and I don't want to see closed cars, Formula 1 being closed cars.
Thank you. Daniil?
I agree with Roman. You know, I think it's enough for now. The way the Formula 1 cars should look should remain the same, and I think we have enough protection so far. Of course, you know, if there are good ideas, they should be considered, but so far I'm quite against it, to be honest, both of those options.
Valtteri?
I don't mind the shield. I think it looks quite okay. I think it's definitely good step compared to the halo. That's my personal view, how it looks, so I don't mind that. I think safety aspect is always important. It's always important to keep things improving, developing. I think safety always needs to be improved, so I wouldn't mind trying out the shield and see how's the visibility and if there's any other issues with that. But I think in terms of safety, it would be a good step to compare to what we have now.
Thank you. Next question.
Front row, gentlemen, vice versa.
Thank you.
Again with Valtteri, and again about his first 100 days in Mercedes. When you signed, did you expect it that it was so hard, so difficult to this experience? And which is so far for you, in your opinion, of course, the biggest mistake you made?
I go to the second question first. Spinning behind the safety car in China. That's the biggest mistake I've done. I think through my career. most likely.
No,
Yeah? Okay. Hopefully the last one.
Daniel, have you done it?
No, but on the outlap, I've done it.
Everyone's done it. Valtteri, sorry, back to you.
Yeah, so for sure I always knew it's going to be a big challenge. Late, changing the team, mid-January. Going up against Lewis, probably one of the quickest drivers ever. So I knew the facts. It's going to be a challenge, and changing team. I have to say that there was quite a bit more stuff to really get good at in terms of really learning how the team operates and how the team is setting up the cars. Different kind of tools to what I'm used to, and different way of thinking in some ways, and getting really understand that 100%. There's been quite a bit of work, obviously. All kind of other things, with how the car behaves mechanically, and at the same time we have new tires, new cars, which is the same for everyone. But yeah, I wouldn't say I underestimated the change, but it's definitely been a challenge as I expected. But like I said, really getting there, and my goal was to be able to extract everything there is in the car in the first race, first qualifying. I don't feel like that I maybe achieved, but I also at the same time allowed myself some time not to put too much pressure. I knew that it's not going to be easy, but yeah, like I said, feeling very, very comfortable now, and good with the car, good with the team. Overall, good feeling. So just happy to continue and get some results.
The last question has been posed.
Thank you.
The records by Marco Mezzurati, La Repubblica. We change inside and we go to
next
the
question.
front row, please. Thank you. Gentleman over there. The phone, please.
Andrei Kartashov, TASS News Agency. Question to Daniil. Do you feel the pressure racing in front of your home stand, and what's going to be the decent result here in Sochi for you?
Well, I'm racing now 4th year here at home, so it's always been a busy week off the track. But to be honest, on the track, starting on Friday, it's been like any other weekend. From that point of view, you just go out in FP1, you start working on the car setup with the tools you've got, and then same procedure in FP2, FP3, and then you got qualifying, and then you got the race. So nothing has really changed for me in those 3 days of, let's say, sporting work. So it's important to just focus on your own job and just try to do the best.
Thank you. Next question.
Livio Rico, Globosport.com. To all drivers, we have been seeing this year some difficulties to take the tires to the window of the temperature of the window, the tires. And here's a circuit that you have a very low tire wear. Can it be an issue here? And for you, Valtteri, if it can be an advantage for you, considering the fight with Ferrari, that Ferrari keeps more the tires, but also has some difficulties to reach the temperature of the tires.
Valtteri, why don't we start with you?
I think we've this year struggled a bit more with higher temperatures. I think that's been a bit of a trend, and that's something we've been working very hard. And I think we've also managed to find some things in testing in Bahrain. So yeah, I think we prefer these kind of conditions to very hot. But it's not something we are counting on. We need to keep working on everything. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how we compare. But my estimate, again, is going to be very, very close with Ferrari. And we are talking hundreds, maximum tens. So it's going to be interesting.
Daniil, how about you?
I think, obviously Pirelli has changed a bit their approach from last few years to here, obviously with the big regulation change. So obviously it's perhaps slightly more conservative with their compounds, but at the same time here, of course, they're bringing their softest compounds. So in the past, this track historically has been very interesting on the tires. It's quite different, standing out, and every year you have to understand how to make it work in the correct way. So I think this weekend also will be interesting, but obviously having Ultrasoft here as a qualifying compound should be a bit more helpful, but we have to find out only on Friday.
And Roman?
Yeah, I think TAR has been easier to work than last year, to put in a window with more downforce on the car. Warm-up was a big issue for Pirelli, or a big concern initially, and I think we haven't had too much warm-up issue. Here, of course, it's more tricky, but again, we'll see how it goes, and with the Ultrasoft, we're hoping that, warm-up will be good enough, and then in the race with the fuel anyway, it should balance it out and be pretty okay.
Thank you. Let's go to the next question.
John McAvoy, the Daily Mail, to Valtteri. If you were given an instruction in this race to move over for Lewis, would you do that? And as well as that, if they sat you down more broadly over the next few weeks and said, look, there's only one way we can get a driver to win this year, and we've got to back Lewis to do it, would you agree to do that? Would you say, I understand why I've been brought in and that's the job I've got to do? My wages arrive through the Mercedes management, and I'll do their bidding. Or would you say, no, I'm not there to do that. I won't yield an inch to Lewis?
Your question is very hypothetical. It's there's a lot of ifs, and I definitely haven't thought that far things, and I don't think that is going to happen. So I prefer not to say any much to that. But example, if I have some issues in this race or for whatever reason, we are in different strategy, or Lewis is stuck behind me or something. If the team tells me to move over, I will, because we are doing this as a team, and our target is to get maximum points for the team. And of course, as a driver, I'm going to do everything I can not to be in that position, and have my own race and all, like personal results as well. But I've always been a team player, and in long term that is going to reward you and the team. But in terms of what's going to happen in the future between me and Lewis and team orders and so on, we are not planning anything like that. I'm sure we are going to be racing very, very hard to get on track. But we, like I said before, this year team needs to be more careful and maybe more clever in terms of how we collect every single point possible in the race, and that one I completely understand. But so yeah, not more to say.
Valtteri, if you're quicker than Lewis, would you expect him to move over for you?
Of course, if the team says that thinks there is possibility to gain more points, or if we are anyway allowed to race freely, it's no different. We are being respected and handled with the same way. So it all can be vice versa in this race or next one. Who knows?
Thank you. Next question.
In front of him? Yeah. Thank you.
Fred Ferrer, l'équipe. Question to Romain Grosjean. With the test of the new brakes, did you have time during that day in Bahrain to test other things, new setups?
Yeah, actually, the brakes was not the first test item of the day. So we tried different mapping in the car, and then over lunch break went to the brakes. Didn't let us a lot of time to set them as much as we wanted, but then Kevin did a similar program on the next day. We collected more information. So yeah, we had a very productive testing, and hoping that everything we've done is gonna be seen on track tomorrow.
Thank you. And next question.
Rick Spekenbrink, Algemeen Dagblad. A question for Daniel. Obviously, a lot has changed since last year here in Sochi for you. Could you tell us a little bit about your past year? Must have been difficult maybe sometimes for you.
Would you guess? But I would say that, in the end, it seems like just some flashes in my memory, to be honest, because now situation is quite different, and it seems like every time I get out on track with the car, it all feels quite comfortable, it all feels quite under control, and like I said, every race is an opportunity for us to do well, and that's how it feels. Sometimes this feeling was very inconsistent, of course, last year, which I guess is normal. But now it seems like it's back to me, and yeah, the confidence with the car is good, the pace is there, and I think we're only at race 4 out of 20, so it all looks encouraging for me. So I prefer to look ahead rather than behind.
Thank you. We have time for one more question.
Daria Panova, F1 only. Question to Daniel Kvyat. Happy belated birthday. What is the most memorable gift you got yesterday?
Sorry, thanks. We actually had a book presentation yesterday about my junior career, so it was very nice, very nice kind of gift. So it was pretty cool. I hope it will be interesting for the young guys from Russia to read. And this was actually the idea of showing a bit the curtains from the inside, how it more or less works, the bit traditional way to Formula One. But there is not a single word about my Formula One career, of course. So that was, and what else? This game backgammon from my father was very nice gift. So yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Okay. We have one last question coming.
Sorry to delay everyone. John McAvoy from the Daily Mail to Valtteri again. Sorry, you get a lot of this now. You're at Mercedes. You seemed as though you've got on well with Lewis. How would you describe the nature of your relationship? Do you speak regularly? Do you see him at the racetrack? Do you exchange many words? How does it sort of work on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so far it's very good with Lewis being his teammate, and I feel we have a good professional teammate relationship. Something very much what I'm used to with Williams, with Felipe. So we don't see outside racetrack. We every now and then we might see at the factory if we're there at the same time, like last Tuesday. And obviously we see each other in the race weekends, sit in the same meetings. It's a normal teammate relationship for me, and so far it's been good. We both respect each other, which is good, and we can work well as a team. We are both really trying to help the team, because every single thing this year is going to count if we want to win the title. So we are really giving everything we can to whatever feedback we can to make us stronger. So yeah, so far very good.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck this weekend. And session 2 of this Thursday press conference will begin shortly, when we're going to be joined by Daniel Ricciardo, Kimi Räikkönen and Pascal Wehrlein.
So there you go, the first part of the press conference on this Thursday afternoon. And Danny Kvyat's best present was a backgammon set from his father and a book presentation about his junior career. He obviously didn't want a PlayStation 4 on this particular occasion. Valtteri Bottas getting a lot of questions as well about his relationship with Lewis Hamilton. He said it's a very good professional teammate relationship, a working relationship. They're not going out and having a tie in London or going out in Monaco and sitting down for a nice glass of red wine, but they do see each other at the track and they get on very, very well. as you can see, Kimi Raikkonen is answering questions, and Ted Kravitz is there, poised and ready with the Sky Sports F1 microphone to ask him a few things. We've got Kimi coming up, and also Daniel Ricciardo and Pascal Wehrlein in a few moments' time. Very fetching pink shirt today for Kimi Raikkonen, and Jolyon Palmer signing a few autographs in the paddock. And we've got a load of tweets from you guys, so let's get stuck into them. Right, where are we going to start on this one? Gordon Robinson, a lot of questions to Valtteri about him yielding to Lewis and team orders. Will they ask the same questions to Lewis? Well, they might ask those questions. Ted might do that when he gets to speak to Lewis a little later on. He's not in the press conference today, Lewis Hamilton, but I think Valtteri Bottas saying that he would move over if he had issues in the race and he needed to, and he expected Lewis to do the same thing. We've got the three drivers already on waiting. More of your tweets coming up in a few moments.
Underway now. Joining us, we have from left to right, Daniel Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen and Pascal Wehrlein. Kimi, if we can start with you. You've been knocking on the door of a podium at every race this year, but judging by your radio messages, you're still not happy with the car. What feeling is it giving you, and how does that change over the course of a Grand Prix?
I'm more happy now than I was probably first race, but I think in the last race it was pretty good. I was very happy with it, but qualifying not so, but in the race itself was good. So then we had pretty average Saturday, so the starting place already was not very good, and then pretty bad first lap, so was a bit of the bad start, and then couldn't really get past. It was Felipe in the beginning, then got past him, and we had very good speed, but then safety car was a bit unfortunate after our pit stop. But you know, I think just the feeling was pretty good. So, but you know, you have to make the Saturday better, and then obviously you can use the speed.
How do you see things panning out this weekend between Ferrari and Mercedes?
I don't know. You tell me. We'll see tomorrow how it goes, and you know, it's been pretty close between everybody so far in the first three. So you know, you wouldn't expect this awful lot different here, but who knows?
Can you say that there are still a few things for you to iron out with the car? But is this still the best Ferrari you have raced in Formula One?
Well, you can't really compare from, okay, it's more easy to compare last few years, and for sure, comparing that, yes. But I've driven a very good Ferrari when I came first time in Ferrari, and you know, it's a good car, good package. Obviously, we have to improve it all the time, like anybody would do it. But yeah, we just need to, on my side, to put things a bit more better where we want it to be, and I'm sure we get the results that we want.
Okay, thank you, Kimi. Daniel, if we come on to you, I want to start with a technical question. You struggled with tyre temperature in Bahrain. With track temperatures not expected to be that high here, are you worried that the issue will be the same at this Grand Prix?
Not worried. I think we learn a bit from that. We had the test on Tuesday after the race, which, yeah, we experimented a few things, so I don't expect to, let's say, be in that position again. So yeah, we'll see. We know this track is one where sometimes you actually circulate for a bit and then do like a push lap. The tyres maybe aren't there on that first lap for say qualifying, but yeah, I think for the race, yeah, we should be okay. We'll be right.
The team is planning to bring pretty much a new car to the Spanish Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time. What do you expect from that car, and what are the major problems with the current car that need addressing?
I expect, let's see, I'll use the word hope. I won't use the word expect, but I hope for a bit of a bullet, something fast. You know, we want to be in a three-way fight, you know, with obviously with Ferrari and Mercedes. So that's what I would hope, you know, for something that puts us in that fight. And, you know, I look back at last year and I think, yeah, here in qualifying, we were over a second and a half off pole. And then, yeah, we went to Barcelona and we were about half a second off pole and we made some good gains. And then obviously in Monaco, we were quick. So, yeah, it's a time of the year where we should start to see these updates take place and some performance really start to come out of the car. So, I'm hopeful of that. And yeah, I think we just need a bit of everything now. You know, we've talked a bit about just, you know, downforce, feeling a bit in the rear. So yeah, I look, we've had a bit of time to sort of look at, you know, Ferrari. They've been in front of us for a few races and can study them for a lap or two before they get too far away. And yeah, they look strong, and Mercedes as well. You know, I think they're just carrying a bit more grip in the rear, and that's where a lot of lap time is in these cars these days.
You say you want a bullet, but the guys next to you aren't standing still. Are you confident that the upgrade in Spain is going to be enough to make it a three-way fight at the front?
I hope so. You know, I'm confident it's going to be better than what we got now, and I think that's, you know, for now, it's all we can ask for is an improvement. And I think a bit like last year, we made that step, and then we were able just to keep chipping away at it. So I think to make that first step is important. I believe we will get that in Barcelona, and then let's see where it puts us. If it puts us within half a second, then I think we're in sort of striking territory soon after that.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend. Pascal, coming on to you. Great first race back in Formula One in Bahrain. You then completed 91 laps during testing. So is it safe for us to assume that you're now back to full fitness?
Yeah, so really happy to be back, first of all. I think my first weekend was great. P13 in qualifying, P11 in the race. So couldn't be more happy about my first weekend. And then obviously the test after the race went well, nearly did 100 laps, and just feeling more and more confident with the car and also with the team and all the procedures. And yeah, just looking forward to start my season finally now.
Before we look forward, one more question looking back. How tough, in hindsight, was your recuperation?
What
physically and mentally, just to get yourself back to full racing fitness? How tough was it? Because you posted a picture on social media of you with wearing a neck brace, and was there ever a moment when you felt things slipping away, your career slipping away, or were you confident that you'd get back and have the sort of race that you had in Bahrain?
No, I fought, of course, very hard to come back, and also with the people around me, which helped me massively to come back as soon as possible and as quick as possible. We knew that it's a matter of time, but obviously to break a few vertebrae, it will take a bit of time, and you know, still it took me only 10 weeks to come back to racing, and I'm very happy about that. I think when I posted the picture after Bahrain, the people realized more which injury I had, and yeah, as I said, just really happy to be back and to start.
Well, Daniel has just been telling us about the rate of development at the front of the grid. Given that's the case, how crucial are the next few races for you to get points? Do you see the next three as your best chance?
I don't think so. Of course, we have a disadvantage, especially I think in the second half of the season with the engine, because we have last year's Ferrari engine. But, you know, I think we can make big progress with the car. And hopefully we are making bigger progress with the car than, you know, second half of the season, the engine is a disadvantage. So let's see how the season goes. I will do my best, and I'm sure everyone in the team does as well. And, yeah, hopefully we can score a few points.
OK, thank you. Good luck. Let's open this to the floor now. Can I have first question, please?
Last row, gentlemen. Last row.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines. To all three of you, the latest information from the FIA says that the cockpit shield has received the nod over the halo for 2018. First of all, which of the two systems do you prefer, and what do you think of the shield in any event?
Kimi, let's start with you.
Well, obviously I only seen a picture of what they showed to us about the shield, and I don't know, until we try, it's very hard to say how it is. Is it better as a visibility than the halo? I don't know. Look-wise, I don't think there's awful lot difference between either of them. So,
Daniel.
Yeah, like Kimi said, you know, we got a presentation, I think, in China, all us drivers, about the new shield, and I think, yeah, we've still obviously got to see a bit more. But yeah, first impressions seemed okay, and I guess we'll now try and get some development on that, and then start to run it in some practices as soon as they can sort of put it on the cars and then get, some more feedback on it. But it's good that they're still obviously looking, for this head protection stuff. So that's positive.
Pascal.
I didn't see the shield yet, so I wasn't in China, so I don't know how it looks. I think it looks similar than your idea last year, no?
Yeah, it's like a middle of the road look, so it looks alright actually.
I think the halo looked a bit strange. So, the version of last year of Red Bull, I liked it quite a lot. It looks like a spaceship and very futuristic, so I liked it. If it looks similar, it's good. And, if it's more safe, it's good for us drivers.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Front of him, black shirt.
Simon Lazenby, Sky Sports. Question for Kimi. Similar question that I put to Valtteri. 34 points between yourself and your teammate right now. Have you had a conversation with management about your role in the team this year? Has Sebastian been identified as the #1 driver?
No, obviously we have our talks beginning of the year. We know exactly what we are supposed to do on between us as drivers, and that hasn't changed anything. And if it comes to that in the end of the year, when either one has no chance purely on points, then obviously things will fall into places. But apart from that, I don't see anything happen until that. So.
Thank you. Next question.
Kirill Zaitsev, 66.ru, question for Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi, can you tell us more about your business outside F1? Is it true that you have a karaoke bar in Helsinki? And how can your fans find it to sing in songs maybe? And do you sing yourself?
I do some other stuff than F1 for sure in my life, and but I have no interest to tell what I do or when I do, or do I go in a bars? Yes. Lately less, no time unfortunately. But yeah, I'm involved with a few things. So.
But Kimi, can you sing?
Can I sing? Badly, but I can sing. So. But I don't think it's the point of that, and it's more fun than actually try to sing. So.
Thank you. Next question.
Lady in front of him.
Jelena Leppänen, Ilta-Sanomat Finnish newspaper. Question to Kimi. You've been pretty frustrated during this season in the races. What has helped you to handle the disappointments?
Karaoke.
No, it's a normal story, I would say. And every year, any race you not do as well as you hope is never gonna be fun or easy. But you can look either way. I'm lucky that I haven't been in a position that you win all the time, so you get used to these things. But on the other way around, you would rather be in that position, and it's always fun. But it's very normal stuff, I want to do better, and the fact is, if you don't do as well as I want myself, it's never going to be fun. It's always more fun when we do have a good result, and we just go next race and try to do better.
Thank you. Next one.
Front row.
Marco Mensurati, La Repubblica. Just a couple of questions for Kimi. In Shanghai, Marciano was not so fine with you. We heard him talking not so gently. And I would like to know about your relationship with him and with the team. And the second one, how long you think your career will last still?
As far as I've spoken to our president, it's always been fine. I know that there's some things that have been said and written, but for me, you can find so many nonsense stories in newspapers, in web, that I trust much more how my relationship is personally with the team or with him, and for me it's all fine. like I said before, I expect from myself a good result, and when I don't get, I'm not happy myself. If other people are not happy, that's fine, because I'm not either. So it's not really a big deal for me. And what comes to my future, I don't know. I mean, there's always a lot of talk since years on that I'm not gonna drive, I'm not gonna do this and that. But my first thing is that I want to do well, and then we'll see what happens after this year. It's definitely not first thing in my mind right now. My first thing in my mind to do well in here, and then next race, and then whatever that brings, then let's see in the future. And I have a good relationship with him. I know them well, and it depends on many things.
Thank you. Next question.
Second row.
Flavio Vanetti, Corriere della Sera, again for Kimi. Can we say that Ferrari is definitely at the same level of Mercedes, or Mercedes is still having something more than your team?
I think there's such many different ways to look those things. If you look in pure results, if you look qualifying results, it depends what you look. But I mean, I think we as a team. They have done a very good job for us to bring the car what we have, and obviously it's up to us to make the best out of it. And Seb has done good races. As a team, I think we come a long way from last few years. Yes, there's still things that we have to improve all the time and do better, but that's same with everybody. And are we always the same level than them Mercedes? I don't know. I mean. It's not far off, let's put it this way. I think in qualifying they've been a bit stronger, I would say, but then in the race it seems to even out, and that's a bit same trend than it's been last few years, that they seem to find something extra on one lap, and then it evens out a bit in the race conditions. So I think it depends a bit on the circuits where we go, but we have a good package and we have to make best out of it.
Thank you. Next one.
Lady over there, red shirt. No, wait for the mic. Thank you.
Angelina Gripsova, Nation Magazine. Question for all guys. What is your favorite track? In which country, I mean?
Favorite track? Favorite track, yeah.
Favorite track. Daniel, why don't you start?
To drive on Monaco. Yeah. That's it's unique, it's so tight and twisty, and the whole weekend is great as a spectacle, but for pure driving, and that for me, as far as adrenaline goes, that's a standout above the rest.
Kimi?
I don't think there's one bad place, one bad circuit, but I enjoy maybe Spa, Monaco, because they're quite opposite. There's a lot of nice places, but maybe those two, I would think.
And Pascal?
For me, it's Macau. So it was very impressive to be there in Formula 3. I think I was 16 or 17, and driving with a Formula 3 car 280 kph is in the street circuit is very impressive, and the track is also very nice.
And Pascal, just a Formula 1 track as well?
Maybe it's getting a Formula 1 track in the future. No, I love street circuits, so maybe Singapore. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
In front of her, lady in the middle. Yeah.
Angelika Bella-Kapitova, After Digest. Daniel, question for you. Good afternoon. Your lack of performance, if I can call that, is it all on your car, or is something missing in the driver? And if yes, what is it?
No, nothing's missing in the driver. I haven't forgot anything. So yeah, I think just with the car, we know that we can do better. I guess I think we'll see that in Barcelona. I think the team's learned a lot from the past, from testing, but also the past few races, and also with our feedback, myself and Max's feedback, I think we've been targeting the same things, and I think now the team has really understood the point on the car to work on and focus on, and that's why now they're bringing this update for Barcelona. So and that's as soon as it can come. So that's pretty much that. So for everyone asking why isn't it here this weekend, then it takes time to build the parts basically and then to put them on the car. So they test them, and then it takes time for the development and all the process. But yeah, Barcelona, we should be good. And yeah, from a driving point of view, I feel good, very good.
Thank you. Next question.
Daria Panova, F1 Only. Question to all drivers about tracks again. What is the main feature of Sochi Autodrome for you? Thank you.
Kimi, let's start with you.
I think it's a nice place to come here. The circuit is quite good. It's been a bit tricky in the last few years. I think it's been just feeling slippery, at least for us. But it's a nice place to come. Everything is new. Everything is well done, and I enjoy to come. It's a beautiful place. So.
Pascal, anything to add?
Yeah, I like the track. So looking forward to drive turn 3, hopefully flat this year. Wasn't possible last year in the manual. I think there are some nice corners also, the one after the back straight, the hard braking. You're braking into left hand, it's very easy to lock the tires. And there are a few nice places, a street circuit, but there's a bit more space. So you can lock up or you can go a bit wide sometimes. So it's a good track.
Thanks. And Daniel?
Yeah, I think the low grip is makes it quite tricky, quite unique, and a lot of the corners are flat, so there's not really any camber, any positive banking to kind of pull you around the corner. So when it's slippery, I guess, and you have like a flat corner, then it's a lot more easier to slide, and it's harder to sometimes find the grip. So that's a challenge, but quite a fun one. It's not many tracks we go to now with sort of that feature. And yeah, as Pascal said, the turn, I guess it's turn 13, I believe, after the back straight. Yeah, braking for there is quite tricky. So that's a good one. It can be a passing opportunity as well. So that's if you can pull off a move there, it's normally a nice one.
Front row.
Thank you. Next question.
Livio Riccio, Globosport.com. Kimi, we saw in the tests in Barcelona, even inside the truck, bands number 9, 10, that you could brake and the enter and the front of the car enter. You didn't have a lot of understeer. And this year you complained in the radio, you heard that you suffer with understeer. Maybe is one of the reasons, or lack performance from you to Sebastian. What happened from the winter tests to now? And to Daniel, you said about development of the car. What about the power unit? Is there a development from Renault, from from Australia to now?
Kimi, let's start with you.
I think people always look at the lap times in the test, and obviously, if you're the fastest, it's easy to say everything is perfect. But I think the problem is also that you do testing in one place and one circuit, and any other circuit is usually you change the setup, and we've been not far off, but off enough to not be 100% happy. And like I said, last race already we were a lot happier. So let's hope this weekend we are even better off and go from there. So just the small things, but it all makes difference.
Yeah, power unit we've had a little bit since Australia, so it hasn't been let's say an upgrade, but we've been able to squeeze I would say a tenth out of it since then. And I think around Montreal we're looking for, let's say, that power unit upgrade, where we should hopefully find say a couple tenths or something like that. So yeah, we're obviously still trying to get chassis and power unit stronger, but yeah, the big upgrade has not come yet.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Second row.
Andrea Cremonese, la Gazzetta dello Sport. A question for Kimi. Last week or 2 weeks ago, you were in Holland to see the motocross World Championship because you have a team there. It could be possible to see you there managing the team when you finish the Formula One. And you are 37 years old. You told before that you are focused on the season to improve yourself, but you are in your mind and a deadline to say, okay, now it's enough for me. I want to change life, of course.
I don't want to change my life. I'm happy with my life. But yeah, I have had the World Championship team many years, so I enjoyed to go there when I had time. Unfortunately, we're quite busy with a lot of stuff, so not enough time to go all of them. But it's good fun. It's different than here, so I enjoy it also on that side. But like I said, we see what happens in the future. I've been in the same position for many years. People always question on many things, but I'm not in a hurry to decide anything. And whatever the future brings is what I want also, and we see.
Thank you, Kimi. Good luck to all three of you this weekend. A full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.
And there's the driver's press conference for today. Then Kimi Räikkönen doesn't want to change his life, even though he's 37, and why should he? Even if he can't sing very well in karaoke bars. A revelation there that I wasn't quite expecting today. Anthony Clarkey says last season Mercedes didn't give team orders to Nico and Lewis. They fought with each other. 2017 is a different story. Why? Because Ferrari are that much closer. And the question has to be asked, do you want the Drivers' Championship or do you want the Constructors' Championship? Obviously, the teams want the Constructors' Championship. That's what pays them the prize money. But in terms of winning that Drivers' Championship, do you have to back one driver? Because backing two, well, if it's that close between Ferrari and Mercedes, might actually cost you the championship in the end. Leon B. Gittins has sent us loads of tweets. He says, what exactly are Red Bull going to bring to Spain that's going to increase their performance that dramatically? Pretty much a brand new chassis, brand new aerodynamic performance as well. Kind of getting it right at the second time of asking. They certainly hope. Formula One fangirl, if the strategy goes well, do you think Räikkönen has a chance of winning or at least getting a podium this weekend? Yes, he does. But I think he's got to qualify ahead of his teammate. Did that, didn't he? 5 races in a row and out-qualified Seb throughout last season in terms of the head-to-head. But he hasn't managed it so far this season, and he probably needs to do that. A few more tweets before we go, because we didn't get a lot of chance in the little interval, did we? Louis J. Valtteri Bottas carries himself very well in these interviews, but should the media back off on the second driver idea for now? Possibly they will, but the questions had to be asked. It was the first time, well, they didn't have to be asked, but they wanted to be asked, and it's the first time really that the journalists have had a chance to ask about number 2 or a number 1. I thought Valtteri actually gave a very good answer indeed on that one, as did Leon P. Gittins, saying a good answer, but he knew that Valtteri would swerve on answering it. T says, is it a concern that any upgrades that traditionally come for Europe will change the battle we have now between Ferrari and Mercedes? Well, I personally hope that the upgrades will move Red Bull into contention as well. Like Daniel Ricciardo was saying, we'll make it a 3-way fight. That's got to be way more interesting as well. And if you don't want open cockpits, go and race DTM. Good on Danny Kvyat and Roman Grosjean, says Steve. The Shield didn't really get a backing, did it, from Roman or from Danny Kvyat. Kimi says we can't say how it's going to go until we try it, and Danny Ricciardo says, look, the first impressions look okay. We'll see that on a track soon, I'm pretty sure. Thank you for all your tweets. One more from Kay. With Grosjean's brake issues, are they really worth a few tenths over the length of the lap? If a driver has confidence in the braking zone, confidence and a better feel for the brakes, then yes, it probably is worth a few tenths. Certainly, Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean, as the Frenchman was saying, are much happier and liked the performance of the Carbon Industry brakes when they tried them in Bahrain. They'll be trying them here in Russia, even though they said Brembo made a good step forward before the end of it. They are the wet weather tyres that you can see in your picture. fingers crossed that the weather forecast is right. We won't be needing to use them at all this weekend. It's dry and it is sunny and it's Sochi, and we are on air throughout all the practice and qualifying sessions, of course, live on Sky Sports F1. Practice 1 gets underway 9:15 tomorrow, 1:45 for the second practice session, and available, of course, in Ultra HD. We'll be live in the paddock for the F1 show from 3:30. Then on Saturday, final practice, 9:45 Saturday morning, qualifying. It's a showdown at noon, isn't it? Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen, who can get pole. On Sunday, track parade at 11:30, then the pit lane live from midday, the race show from 12:30, and paddock live, all your reaction from 3:30. Don't forget the race available in Ultra HD. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Take care and enjoy your Thursday.
Enjoy Sky Sports F1 Live, on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.